Welcome to the waterways of the Boston Commonwealth, a place where you can take a romantic stroll along the river, dip your toes in the irradiated water, and if you're unlucky, you might just stumble across some of the toughest, fiercest, and most deadly creatures in all the wasteland, the Mirelurks. Creatures who prowl the rivers, beaches, and swamps of the wasteland, preying upon those who, in times past, would have turned them into hearty stews and nice little lobster rolls. But these crabby guys and gals are not one single species. The Mirelurks are in fact a grouping of various pre-war amphibious creatures, twisted and transformed by the mutating light of atomic fire. The most common of the Mirelurks are the standard crab variant that we can see right here, prowling the shores of the Potomac River outside of Erefu. They are believed to be the result of a mutation that mixed together two different unique species, the Atlantic blue crab and the horseshoe crab, which confusingly is not actually a crab, being closer in relation to arachnids than to crustaceans. Nevertheless, the concoction of water pollution and radioactive fallout somehow mutated these vastly different creatures together into a monstrous new being. These creatures, like all Mirelurks, thrive in moist, irradiated environments, such as swamps, marshes, coastal regions, and sewers, where they can easily be identified by their robust, chitinous shell, which provides substantial protection against most conventional firearms and handheld weaponry. These Mirelurks have noticeably poor eyesight, meaning they tend to rely on their acute sense of smell to detect both predator and prey, using their two large pincers for defense and hunting upon detection of a target. Now, depending on where you are in the wasteland, there are two distinct types of these crab Mirelurks that you might come across. The skittering Mirelurks of the Commonwealth and Appalachia shuffle about on multiple pincer legs and appear to have mutated less than their more human-like counterparts in and around the capital wasteland, who stride towards their prey on two legs. Mirelurks are generally social with others of their kind, although they tend to be aggressive to other creatures and even one another if one gets too close to another's food or territory. They have been noted to show no fear engaging any foe. They are, after all, a ferocious apex predator, pursuing their prey incessantly, charging forward head down to protect their exposed face, ready to attack either with their huge and powerful claws, or by slamming their considerable mass into their prey, shell first. Now, if you are unlucky enough to get caught in one of these Mirelurk's claws, you'll be immobilized and powerless against their vice-like grip. Once they have you in their grasp, the crab's abdominal claws strip the flesh from your helpless body, consuming you down to the bone within minutes. What's worse is that the Mirelurks have been known to raid human settlements, tearing campsites apart in search of food and creating nests near towns and villages, meaning human settlements near water sources, such as Rivet City, regularly have to embark on extermination operations, or risk their citizens being torn apart in their sleep by the powerful pincers of these man-sized crabs. But should you find yourself in the vicinity of these creatures, fear not. Here's a few tips to prevent you from becoming crab food. Despite their thick shell, the basic Mirelurk does still have weak points, and as mentioned earlier, their poor eyesight can make them easy to outmaneuver. Stand downwind from these beasts so that they cannot pick up your scent, keep your distance from their snapping claws, and aim for their fleshy weak points around the abdomen and their face. Then you should be able to turn these Mirelurks into crab cakes no problem. Closely related to these crab variants are the Mirelurk Hunters, which appear to be descended from lobsters, giving them a more distinctive, elongated appearance. They share many of the same habitats as their crab cousins, being particularly present around beaches, but they differ greatly in appearance to their crab counterparts, possessing an elongated body running from their flared lobster tail to their exposed head, which houses the eyes and antennae, which serve as their primary sensory organs. Their body is covered nearly entirely in a hardened shell, meaning these hunters are more resilient than the crab variant, and more deadly due to their ability to both rush towards prey with their powerful pincers, ready to snip through flesh and bone, and weaken prey from afar by spitting corrosive acid at targets. So as with the regular Mirelurks, make sure to utilize the terrain to keep out of distance of not just their pincers, but their ranged acid attacks as well. all the while utilizing explosives strong enough to crack through these lobsters' shells. Of the Mirelurks, one breed reigns supreme over all others, and if we take a trip over to the derelict Fort Independence, we might just catch a glimpse of her. Yes, here one is, the Mirelurk Queen, a towering, heavily mutated variant of the Mirelurk species, who represents the apex of Mirelurk evolution. Their exact origin is unknown. Potentially they are the result of being exposed to a particularly high level of radiation. Maybe, like super mutant behemoths, they are simply the oldest of their species. Or perhaps they are a rare, new, distinct subspecies of the Mirelurk altogether. They do after all possess the large back shell of the crab variant, and the flared tail of the lobster variant. What we know for sure is that they act as matriarchs, ensuring the survival and expansion of Mirelurk colonies, setting up nests around large bodies of water such as lakes, the ocean, and flooded ruins. The Mirelurk Queen is several times larger than any of their spawn. She is protected by a slimy, hardened exoskeleton that makes her resistant to all but the heaviest of weaponry. Long pincers and an array of abdominal claws allow her to pick up and devour prey. From her putrid mouth, the queen oozes corrosive acid, which she can expel jets of across great distances. And if that wasn't enough, the queen can also fire her eggs towards enemy positions, spawning small Mirelurk hatchlings during combat, overwhelming opponents through sheer numbers. If you come face to face with one of these matriarchs, our best advice is to run, but failing that, make sure to keep moving, utilize explosives and fire to deal with these swarms of hatchlings, and hope you've got something strong enough to pierce through her exposed underside. Further to the presence of a Mirelurk Queen, we do also know of at least 2 breeds of Mirelurks known colloquially as kings. However, they lack the size and level of authority of the matriarchal queens, and as we make our way through these flooded caves of the capital wasteland, we might just spot the first of these Mirelurk kings. Originating from heavily mutated snapping turtles, this subspecies is native to at least 2 places, the waterways surrounding Washington DC and the Colorado River. Now, despite originally being a turtle, the reptilian Mirelurk kings lack the characteristic shell of other Mirelurk variants, but they make up for it with their thick, leathery skin, which covers an eerily human form. They walk upright on 2 legs. From their long and broad torso, which is adapted perfectly to swimming, sprout 2 powerful arms, adorned with fins. Above their gill-lined neck lay their face, and a sneering mouth of snapping teeth, from which the kings emit a sonic shriek at their prey. Mirelurk kings are also highly intelligent compared to other Mirelurk variants. They've been observed using their sonic attack to stun prey before closing in for the kill. They are also known to coordinate attacks with other lesser Mirelurks, suggesting a level of communication and a degree of strategic planning. The Mirelurk kings found in and around the Boston Commonwealth, on the other hand, represent another biologically distinct and, in this case, amphibian branch of the Mirelurk family, with this variant appearing to have evolved from mutated frogs. The frog variant of the Mirelurk king has a sleek, muscular build, covered in sharp fins and a long tail. This body has been designed both for swimming and leaping. Unlike the armored shells of standard Mirelurks, this variant has a smooth, slimy, amphibian-like skin that provides flexibility and speed, but offers limited protection against attacks. Webbed frog-like hands aid in swimming, while sharp claws are used for slashing attacks in melee combat, and similar to the snapping turtle variant, the frog variant can emit a sonic blast attack. These froggy fellows are skilled ambush predators. They often lurk underwater, ambushing unsuspecting prey, suggesting that, as with the turtle variant, these kings have a higher level of intelligence than their lesser counterparts, meaning that if you were to stumble into their territory, you should show extra caution to avoid being outsmarted by these oversized pond dwellers. Reduce their mobility by aiming for their exposed legs, and try to take these leaders out first to diminish any coordinating effects they offer the other Mirelurks. No matter the type, however, be they crab, turtle, or frog, each of these creatures is a deadly and vicious foe, Should you master this knowledge of them, however, you might just open up a rather lucrative business opportunity. You see, despite possessing the texture of vulcanized rubber, Mirelurk meat is for some reason considered a delicacy amongst wastelanders. This, combined with their tendency to reach maturity within a month of hatching, has led some to venture into a new, dangerous business, the farming of Mirelurks. Would you become a Mirelurk farmer? Which of these beasts is your favourite? Let us know down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to join us again soon. Until then, catch you next time.